Good morning,
Hello,
Hunter.
hello.
Yeah, Hunter. Do you wanna welcome the good people? Tell them where they are, how they got here, how they fell down a well and now they're here.
I mean, you just did, man. You spoiled it.
Oh
Hey,
shit.
everybody. Welcome to the Pact. This is Warlocks and Waffles. We are an RPG morning show. If you are new to the show, welcome. Um, it is good to be here on this fine Thursday morning.
Yeah. We're just so excited that one, we're still here running show in 2022. That is kind of number one. But I'm also really excited because as we've been running show, we've had other opportunities to just like do things
Mhm.
together. And one of them, oh, hi, thank you so much. One of them that I think we haven't done, but we should do
Uh-huh.
is we should fake have breakfast together. Like we should do a food vodcast that's just us eating into a microphone and into a camera. I'm sorry, but I can't hear you actually there, bud. I think you might have muted yourself.
I didn't know I could do that.
Okay, cool.
Can you hear me now?
I can, yeah.
Dope. Hi, everybody. Um, what I was saying was, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was just thinking the other day, we need something for when we hit 100 followers because we are
Oh shit,
rapidly
that's
approaching
true.
it.
Do you want to do
We
a
are
sloppy
we are
weed
at
spaghetti cast?
91. We are at 91 followers right now. Which to all 91 of you, thank you very much. That's absurd. We love you all. But the what I was thinking was we had talked a while ago about potentially setting up um a way to like watch us in the kitchen as we cooked.
Mm, yeah.
um
Mm-hmm.
and I think we could merge those two and bring the chat along to watch us make our breakfast and then sit down and eat breakfast with us. um
Oh,
and
I
we could
actually
do that on
love
just
that.
a really random day. It doesn't have to be one of our normal streams, or it could.
Oh
But
man, that's good.
something I was toying with.
Yeah, that's either gonna go great or terrible.
Yeah, which I think will be
Because
really entertaining.
right, yeah.
They can watch us accidentally burn our houses down.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think that'll make great content. Um, so
Oh
yeah,
God. Yeah. We are God, that that could be really, really good. Duct tape a camera to the ceiling above the stove.
it would get
I was gonna
fogged
say,
real quick.
yeah, I was gonna say like we have better technology than duct tape, but then I was like, no, wait, I don't have anything that I can just suspend a camera from the
We have
ceiling with,
better
so it may
technology
well
than
be
duct
duct
tape,
tape.
but why use it
Um,
when duct tape is readily available?
yeah, I think
Oh,
we've
those
all
were
seen that.
words, but I barely
Right.
made them out of my mouth.
Don't worry, Hunter. Hunter's having a stroke, but we're here to live stream it. So this is Strokecast.
Don't make that joke because it's not it's not a good one.
No.
Also, people on a regular basis ask me if I've had a stroke because the left side of my mouth doesn't quite move as much as the rest of my face does.
Oh
Um,
no.
so yeah, touching on my insecurities first thing in
Oh
the morning
boy.
on a Thursday, Paul.
Here we are.
Off to a
Yeah.
good
Hey,
start.
sound off in the chat if you've got insecurities you would like us to hammer on. But uh,
Our least loved bit ever.
we have
Oh
named
man,
so many of our bits that verbatim, and I'm beginning
that's
to
fair.
think we just don't come up with good bits.
Possible. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
God. But it is true. We're nearing 100 followers,
We're
which is
nearing
wild. I
100.
would never have guessed that we would get to double digits, much less triple, because I don't have that many family members who want to watch this show, and who I can guilt into it. So I definitely don't have 100. I barely have 10. Um, so I'm impressed. This means people who don't know me, or
Yeah.
you maybe, joined in. Like Jolly Green from Nat One Funds community. You remember how they wrecked our shit on Monday? He showed up and was like,
"Hey,
"Hey,
Jolly Green, welcome to the
welcome." I don't know if he's still here. He said he needed to head out, but yeah. So we're just so grateful that all of you came along.
Jolly Green says they're working their first convention of the year. What convention are you
working? That's wild. There's a convention. It's bonkers to me that you would tune in from a convention, because surely there's something more exciting at a convention than us. A hunting convention in Dallas. Okay, well,
interesting.
You know what? Like,
Dallas
I
is
don't
a very
know the
cool
first thing about a hunting convention, but let's speculate wildly. I think it is maybe a most dangerous game hunting man for sport kind of
thing. Based on everything I know about Dallas, probably. I used to live not far from Dallas.
Jolly Green, good luck and Godspeed.
Beautiful city. Very cool.
God damn.
Awesome.
So we're coming up with like new things in February. We're booking guests. Well, Hunter's booking guests in February, and I'm just like, whoa. But Hunter, it's been a minute since we. Oh my God. Holy shit. Wait a minute. Jolly Green, is that a joke that it's a JFK assassination reenactment? Holy crap.
I really want that to not be a joke.
Okay, God.
It was a joke.
Woo! Okay, wow. All right. Hey,
I have been destroyed.
Yeah. So Hunter, I want to talk to you about Dimension 20 because I'm very, very excited about it.
Yes.
And what I'm very excited about, for those of you who hey, welcome, Limug. Limug is actually using one of our first emotes.
One of our
eventually got around to
ones.
uploading. Thank you so much, Hunter, for uploading those.
We also have this cool D20, which you can't really see well in the chat, but it is a pixelated D20.
Yeah. So if you want to subscribe for some neat emotes, we got them. And we've got more on the way too. They're just pending approval because it's mostly.
Here's the thing. Let me throw this out there because I'm very excited about this. So I worked on getting some emotes together. In addition to like the regular waffle mic that you get for just being a regular subscriber, if you're a tier 2 subscriber, you unlock the magic waffle mic emote, which is our waffle mic with the sparkles coming off of it. And if you're a tier 3 subscriber, you get the butter waffle mic, which is the waffle mic with the butter dripping off of it and pooling around the bottom. We also have a what's it called? The bumper car, the pixelated bumper car for the inside joke of last on Monday.
Go ahead and watch that VOD because it's very good.
Yeah, it's fun.
Have been the funniest episode we ever did.
But at one point they were the chat was telling us that we were far off the rails, and Davy Jones in the chat said we're so far off the rails it's like we're a bumper car lost in the woods, which I really resonated with. And it's very good. We have an emote of a 8-bit bumper car that I put together.
It's good.
It should be here soon. It's just in the review process and can't be on there.
It's weird because like it's only still in the review process because on the side of the bumper car in very, very small font, it does say the moon landing was fake. But everything other than that about it is just a regular bumper car. But yeah, thank you so much, Hunter, for getting those together.
Yeah, I'm still working on more. There will probably be more dropping soon, but I want to wait for the other ones to load in before we add more.
Yeah. It would be a very happy bumper car because there are lots of things to hit. That's true. Is that what makes bumper cars happy?
I feel like yes.
Bumper cars in the Cars universe?
That's their life purpose, right?
Sure, yeah. Their life purpose is to bump, but now that I'm thinking about it, bumper cars might be the most sexual vehicle of all time. Like right up there with the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
That's really funny.
But there is God damn it. We are
We
so
got
grateful to all
distracted.
of you. I did a little bit with the bumper car sexy thing. We are so grateful to all of you, and actually we've been looking. I always go there, Cheshire Meerkat. That's just me. We've been looking at like the numbers and the viewerships because
Mhm.
we're real business boys. And it turns out that a lot of you are like binge watching the VODs later, which is
Very
one
fun. I love that.
wild to
I love
us.
that so much.
But to that point, we wanna holler out we wanna shout out our YouTube channel because like
Mhm.
the VODs on Twitch only stay up for 2 weeks. So if you want to go watch us figure it out real slow and painfully in our first few episodes, they're all up on our YouTube channel. And
Paul,
there's some
you're so good at selling that.
it is. It's like I have a hard time watching myself do anything because
Yeah.
I'm like, why aren't you just more funny, dumb
And
idiot? Like stop saying ums and ahs. Like just go for it.
oh man,
And
I've been putting our videos up on Twitch, and it's hard for me because
TikTok,
I
I think
sit
you mean.
there. I TikTok, sorry.
Yeah.
I just rip into myself as I'm putting these up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to watch yourself, but we do it for you. We do it for the
Mhm.
loving, adoring fans. So so yeah, we have a YouTube channel, which I guess is like the full extent of that advertisement in
Yeah,
terms of
this is
content.
a very good
We
ad. Well
have new
done.
emotes. We have a Jackbox night coming up. That's next Friday evening. We have booked all of our special player guests. We're so excited. It's gonna be awesome. And Hunter, I guess this is the point at which, first off, we say welcome to the pack. That's our intro bit.
It is.
And what did you have for breakfast this morning, there, bud?
I forgot to eat. I woke up and I rolled out of bed and thought to myself, "Oh man, I'm sure glad I don't have anything happening until later today, because I'm real tired." And then I looked down at my phone and it said, "You have the stream in an hour," and I was like, "Dang it!"
Yeah.
So then I got out of bed and I jumped in the shower and now I'm here.
So it sounds like what you had for breakfast was spite.
What I had for
Um,
breakfast was anxiety.
yeah. Yeah, so anyways, we have God. I got to be honest with you, Hunter. I'm
Yes.
tempted to go back to a bit that we've done in the past here.
Is it rate my setting? Because I feel like
No,
we've
it's
done
not
it a
rate
lot.
my setting. We've
Okay.
done a lot of
Okay.
rate my setting recently.
What is this?
Something that we started developing, but then we put on the anything but warlocks or waffles is unacceptable for breakfast, I think you mean. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I don't eat a whole lot of warlocks in my diet, and I am protein deficient.
Hey,
But
yeah, you're missing out, man. They're good.
yeah,
Yeah.
what is the warlock vitamin?
Oh.
I feel like there's something here for like a pun based on warfarin. But anyways, uh, there's there's a bit that we started a long time ago where both of us are liches,
That's true.
and
That's
we
a
have like
that's a callback, yeah.
that's a deep pull, yes. But the good people really enjoyed our little story of friendship and heartbreak, and we
Did they?
haven't.
Is that what they told you?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like I don't know. I enjoyed it because I love pretending like we're friends. And it was really good. And I think what I would really love to know if you're a lich, because we've already gone through like what your phylactery defense measures would be.
Mhm.
We've already gone through what your fortress would look like. We've gone through your color scheme, which is Vanta Black 2.
Mhm.
And we've even gone through like your fortress is adjacent to mine.
Yes, we're
But
neighbors.
yeah, we're neighbors, we hate each other, but it's a thing. What I want to know from you is, how did you become a lich? I'm a big fan of like personally imagining that like there's not just one way to become a lich. Like there are
Sure.
many different rituals or like processes you could
Mhm.
effect to become
All
a
of them,
lich.
we can agree they're all horrifying, right? Like
Yeah, sure.
none of them are good.
Yeah, like one's like you got to put on Doc McStuffins for like 4 months and sit there and watch it without sleeping.
Oh my
You know?
goodness, Paul. You know my number one takeaway from uploading things to TikTok, from of our bits has been we take shots at people a lot. Um, I uploaded if you're on TikTok, everybody go follow us on TikTok, Warlocks and Waffles. We just upload random bits that we've done.
Mhm.
But the I was uploading the one where you were taking shots at Arby's.
Mhm.
And I realized as I was uploading it, Arby's has a TikTok,
Yeah.
and I really want to tag them in the video. Like, even if it's just in the comments, to be like, hey Arby's, I don't know what Paul has against you, I love you. um but yeah, anyway,
Oh
you were
god.
proposing a bit. Yes,
Yeah.
so you were asking how I became a lich in
Well,
this world.
and this could be bigger too. Like if you want to
Mhm.
talk, there is no the, the process for becoming a lich, as far as I understand it, is not spelled out for us in too much detail.
No,
Uh
it is in the same vein as like creating a horcrux, right? Where
with
it
one
is.
exception, illithids, mind flayers who become liches, that
Mhm.
ritual is spelled out in excruciating detail in the published 5th edition content.
Really?
Really, really it is. Go like it's I think in Volo's Guide to Monsters, and here
That's very interesting.
I'm not going to quote too much of it because I'm pretty sure there are copyright laws. But
Sure.
uh yeah, I'm gonna give you the broad strokes here.
Okay.
It's in Volo's Guide to Monsters under the Mind Flayers chapter, and let's take a look here. Mind Flayer layers, nautiloids. Let's see. Uh there's a bunch of stat blocks.
I love watching content of people trying to find things in a book.
Yeah. uh I don't know, but like do you use liches much for like all of the shit that we've given you about liches? Do you use them much?
So I use, I mean, yes is the short answer.
Uh-huh.
Not as like a frequent villain, but it is uh one of the main threats on my continent right now, or one of my
Mhm.
continents, the one where a lot of my games take place, is a Lich's army. Um
Mhm.
and so they're just sort of they're more or less contained right now, but they um I mean, they're there. Uh, so people have gone in to try and take care of it, and they've never been seen again. So
Yeah.
it's a lot. I
Yeah.
have a couple of groups that have decided that it is their quest to go take care of the Lich, and I'm like, it's not. You'll die.
Mhm.
But
That's
yeah,
interesting. What
it is there.
not to spoil too much for your
Mhm.
players, but like what would be the level of their party where you would say like, okay, you can attempt this?
Ooh.
Because I personally like I don't have a problem with there being like hard limits to what players can achieve
Mhm.
in a setting, right? Like most groups, regardless of level, will not be able to say like I would like to kill God. You know, like I would like to walk up, bitch slap a god
Right.
and just like
Yeah.
kill them instantaneously. Like that's really not on the table.
Mhm.
Uh but what what level would you put a this lich that you have at? Because part of a big part of a lich's like threat is their minions and their fortress and their traps and their spells. So like it's not even that the Lich itself is that hard.
Right.
It's that the Lich has a system of power.
Mhm.
So is there any conceivable way that a player group could kill this thing in your world?
I mean, yeah, there are things that they could equip for themselves and go in to take care of it. I probably wouldn't try it before level 15.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, once you're at level 15, the power scale is kind of weird at high levels, but
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I mean, they could certainly go for it. Whether or not they're going to be successful is another thing. I would say high level players is the only thing that's going to take this out.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you
and
have a high level group
otherwise
right
it's
now?
going to stay as just a threat to the continent.
Yeah.
The highest level, that's a fun question. Let's see here. I think
For those of you who aren't aware, Hunter runs a persistent world across all of his groups. And this is something that feels like a lot of kind of keeping mental notes for me to keep track of. But Hunter does it quite well, according to his groups.
yes,
And he'll even have them
you
interact
referred
with
to
each
it
other.
as you referred to it as weaponizing my ADHD.
Yeah.
Um, the highest level group right now is level 11.
Okay, cool. So no one's even really close. Like I don't know how quickly you level groups, but
Oh,
for me,
I level really fast at low level,
uh-huh.
and then stretch it out in mid, and it goes real slow at high.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I've just had a group hit level 20, but that's only because like they were really horny for level 20. Like they at this point like and Sunday morning nerds sound off in the chat. You know who you are. And it they made me drag this campaign out longer so that they could hit level 20. Like
Mhm.
I told them 6 months ago. I was like, all right, we're heading toward a finale. Things are gonna start
Right.
happening on a schedule, and you have to respond to them. And if you don't, other bad things will happen. And they were like, all right, cool, but we're gonna do a bunch of side quests. And I lined up, anyways. Uh, they just hit level 20 because like I was like, it's clear you want to hit level 20.
Sure.
We're going to put a bunch of incredibly hard boss fights up against you, and you're going to clown all over them because that's what you do, because they are experts at lateral thinking. And they did. And then they leveled up a bunch, and now they're
Yeah.
level 20. And I'm hopeful that they don't go on Reddit and say, like, homebrew level 21. You know, like, I'm hopeful that they don't get it in their head that, like,
Yeah,
we could
those
keep going.
high levels, yeah.
Yeah. So like there are for those of you unaware, in D&D 5th edition, 20th level is the highest level you can achieve per the game's rules. Of course, the community has been like, no, we want higher levels. And so a lot of people have put out their own homebrew levels beyond 20. Um, and that is cool if that's your thing. I think 20th level characters are already pretty godlike, so I'm okay with
Yeah.
not having them be all over the place. But
Yeah. I mean that
yeah.
the one group I have that is level 11, like we're already moving towards the end of that campaign because their
Mhm.
characters are already they're too powerful for any like regular threat, but they're not powerful enough for any of the big threats. And so they're
Ooh.
just sort of like in the middle there and like
Yeah.
having a hard time with it.
Yeah.
Um but yeah,
Uh yeah,
it's a process.
uh it
Oh, blue
is
collar TM. Hey
yeah.
guys. How
Hey,
you
welcome.
doing? Welcome to the
I'm
stream.
so glad to see you here. Oh
Woot
shucks, bud.
indeed, blue collar. Woot
Very
woot.
nice of you. Thank you so much, bud. We're flattered that anyone would watch, as we say regularly, but that you have raided with a party of 4 is
Yeah.
wild. And
That
since
means
they're
that
raiding,
we are a destination.
yeah. You can host your event at Warlocks and Waffles for the low, low price of our dignity. And
Oh man, that's basically free.
Oh, hi, Shanta's mama is in the chat. She's
Hey,
on
Shanta's
California
mama.
time right now, which is wild. So yeah, welcome. Thank you for being awake right now. Yeah, hi, Blue Collar DM. Yes, I think you made the right choice, but you
Hey,
know,
we think we're funny.
we think we're funny, and that's the premise for this show. But you
Basically.
may experience remorse. That is common in our viewers. Don't worry about it. If you can push through that, you'll find some funny on the other side.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I heard there were pancakes here.
Mm.
Unacceptable. We are not a pancake podcast.
We
are
a
waffle Twitch stream.
Yeah, we're a waffle podcast.
I take that back. We've talked about pancakes before.
We have talked about pancakes with Gabe Mercer. Gabe Mercer, notable butter boy who
notable butter boy.
We said on this show that we're gonna call him Butter.
Hey Gabe, you're a butter boy.
You're a straight up butter boy, Gabe. Because he takes his pancakes with butter, no syrup,
and nothing else.
And that's it. That's all she wrote. And what's the price for getting us to 100 followers? You know, we were going to figure that out at the top of this stream.
Yeah, we got distracted. Shocking, I know. To all our longtime followers, you know that has never happened before. We have never had a conversation and then been distracted from it. Case in point, you definitely weren't addressing the pancake thing and immediately distracted by the chat to now talk about our 100 followers.
Yeah, I've been distracted to the main thing. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's as if someone was like, here, work. Go do work. And I was like, oh, okay, now I do work. Like, that never happens.
Yeah. If you're new here, welcome if you're new. Both Paul and I have ADHD. And that results in very random content because we don't know where we're going with it. And half the time it's funny. So
half the time it's funny. The other half the time, we do say things like, if you want to make your GM's day, give them literally any sign of positive feedback. A quote that Hunter has said.
That is in the clip that you sent me yesterday to put out, and I looked at it and I was like, oh man.
Yeah, it's
true. That's real sad. Also, post.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, so what are we going to do at 100 followers? We talked about doing a cooking stream at 100 followers.
I still think that's fun.
I think that's very, very fun.
Setting up our cameras in the kitchen. And,
I don't have a waffle maker. I don't have a waffle
iron. Do. I have like a restaurant quality Belgian waffle maker that I found at a garage sale for $5 years ago.
I have a very good pancake recipe. So maybe that's the bit. Maybe we do
we'll make different things.
Yeah, you'll make waffles, I'll make pancakes. If you want, you could get Grace in on the stream. I don't know. We'll have to do it on like a bank holiday or something.
Yeah, we could do that. What about a I don't know. I think let me see here. That's a little far off, but the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, is a Monday, which means that theoretically we would have content.
If Grace is taking the day off, great, but it is not technically a bank holiday. That's
I know it's not technically. But yeah,
they're impressed pancakes. EO, the chat is going nuts about the difference between pancakes and waffles, and we'll get right back to scheduling this. I do love February the 14th, Valentine's Day, but I would say that waffles are actually pancakes are flat waffles, or as I like to call them, flaffles.
I would argue that they're fundamentally different foods.
Yeah, it's a different kind of
'Cause,
batter.
especially if you have like a good Belgian waffle, like it's
Mhm.
got that crispiness on the outside of
Yeah.
it that a pancake.
Mhm.
If you have a crispy pancake, you have a bad pancake.
I beg to differ. There are crispy like flatbreads in existence, and they're good.
There are crispy flatbreads.
And there are crispy
That is
pancakes.
not the
Like,
argument
hey,
here.
hold
The
on now.
argument
Hold
is a
on here.
crispy
Santa's mama,
pancake.
get in the chat. Tell him about the Dutch baby pancake that you make, and you're so fucking good at it. There are crispy pancakes in the world, and I'm here because I'm a breakfast egalitarian. I'm here for inclusion and diversity in breakfasts, and
Oh, absolutely. I
crispy
just
pancakes
think
are a thing.
sure. I'm not I will allow that crispy pancakes exist. My point being, if you
Mm.
got a pancake and it was crispy, you would assume it was a bad pancake.
If on the menu it was listed as a pancake, like if I go to Denny's and
You
they
go to
serve me a
Denny's and you
crispy,
order bottomless pancakes and one of them is crispy,
Mhm.
you will assume that is a bad pancake.
Well,
Whereas
Caleb,
if you got a plate of like Belgian waffles,
and they're crispy.
the
That's
the
right.
one that's got some crispiness to it is like, ooh, that's the good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Shanta's mama, thanks for the validation. But uh, crispy pancakes are just well done crepes is very, very good. Recently, I
Mm.
posited the idea of a hard shell crepe, and no one liked that. So, anyways, can we talk for a moment? I have two options. Either we can go back to
Sure.
planning out our breakfast stream, or I can tell you my most unfortunate Denny's story of all time.
Oh man. I mean, I feel like I need to hear the Denny's story, and
Okay.
then we can go into planning a breakfast stream.
Okay, cool. So, chat, go ahead and get ready to feel
Everyone, buckle your
terrible about
yeah.
me.
Everybody, buckle your seatbelts. This
Yeah.
cannot go well.
Tian FH, thanks for tuning in right as I'm about to reveal one of my most embarrassing moments. So the year was 2014,
Okay.
a different time,
And
uh,
yeah, back
and
in the before ages.
the before COVID BC, as one of our listeners commented on Monday, and thank you, EO Gamer. Yes, it is story time.
Also,
Story time.
we got a follow a
Padre
little
Paul.
bit ago, and I
Yeah.
saw the notification come up, but I missed the name.
Adotlin, I think. Yeah.
Hi, thanks for the follow.
Adotlin. So hi, welcome, thank you. So so this story is a gross story, because this story is about drunk college boys one-upping each other,
I
which is
assumed because it's at a Denny's.
yeah. So it was past midnight, which is the only time that real Denny's exists.
Yeah.
And previous to that, they are kind of a fake Denny's, a half
It's
Denny's.
pronounced denies in the daytime.
That's good.
Because you have to deny that you are there. In the night, it becomes Denny's, and you know what you're doing
right.
there.
The extra N is
I
for
had
nighttime.
my old boss used to say that no one goes to Denny's at night. They
end
end
up
up at
there.
Denny's.
Yeah. But we ended up there after a night of partying and drinking, which was the same thing in college. Partying in college is just drinking around your
Right.
friends and being like, this is adulthood, right?
Right.
And so we got to Denny's.
Alcohol is a reason to gather.
The theme of every party, even if it's a themed party in college, is alcoholism. Like that's
Right.
just the theme of every party. And then you get older and you're like, we could have something else be the theme and still drink like monsters.
Right.
But
you realize that you can drink and still remember the night.
Yeah. Incidentally, when I suggested the concept of a hard shell crepe, it was at a brunch recently, a New Year's Day brunch, and we had mimosas and it was lovely. And I ran games later that day because you can just do whatever you want when you're an adult. But we get to Denny's, and pretty quickly, someone, read me, suggests hey guys, let's have a competition because I noticed this bottomless pancakes offering.
Yeah.
And in
It's like
college,
$4.
I was a real hungry boy.
Yeah.
And we were the only people in this Denny's. I mean, the only people. There was not a host who sat us down at a table. The lights were on, the kitchen
It's an
was working.
abandoned Denny's.
And a waiter came to the table after we sat down, but it was clearly a skeleton crew. And so here we are, 8 college kids, and we sit down, and 4 of us idiots decide we're going to compete to see how many pancakes we can eat. And there were points. It was a points system. So you gained, like, I don't know. For those of you unaware, the bottomless pancakes offering goes thusly at Denny's. They start you with a plate of 3 pancakes, and then after that, they will bring you out a plate of 2 pancakes, but they will only start making that plate of pancakes once you have finished the previous plate. So there's a delay during which your tummy gets more full. And they also, when they bring you out a new plate of pancakes, bring one of those little shot glasses of syrup. And so here was the point system. The point system was 5 points for every pancake, 7 points for every pancake consumed without syrup, so just dry.
Okay.
And a bonus 3 points if you take the syrup as a shot.
What does it say about me that I knew where this was going? As you started explaining the point system, I was like, okay, so you're going to drink that syrup.
Right, exactly,
yeah.
right? So I don't want to reveal too much. But
you don't want to brag, but how many points did you get?
I got 47 points.
Oh my goodness. Do you want to do the breakdown of what that entailed? Do you know the breakdown?
God, it was a long time ago, but yes, I still remember it very clearly.
Okay.
So it's actually not that hard to rack up 47 points.
Sure.
All you have, so if you
sounds
do
like a much bigger
plate,
number.
This is the man I have chosen to love, says Shanta's mama. It sounds like a much bigger number until you remember that those 7 and 5 points are per pancake.
That's
and
true.
So not per plate. And so thanks. Hi. Yes, my name in all caps. This is true. Thank you for clarifying it's not Hunter. Although I love you, Hunter.
Thanks.
But it's not that hard to rack up 47 points because if you take the first plate dry, that's 21 points worth of pancakes right there. You take the syrup shot with it, and that's an extra 3. You're already at 24.
Sure.
The next plate, if you do that dry, that's another 14, plus the syrup shot is 17 total. So that brings you up to 41. But I actually couldn't muscle through it. So I got up to, I think it was 37.
Okay.
And then I had 2 more pancakes after that with syrup. And that brought me up to 47. 47. Okay. So I had 3 plates of pancakes, and that was 7 pancakes total, 4 of which had syrup on them. And yeah, that is you wish you could have been a part of the contest. I got good news. Denny's is still offering this opportunity. So if you want to go ahead,
it's $4 to play this game with your friends.
Yeah. It's one of the cheapest forms of real belly aching entertainment you could have heard. Shanta's mama, you haven't heard a lot. I'm not proud of this story. I didn't tell you this story when we were starting dating because I thought it would be good if you liked me.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. So for those of you currently watching, that's a story my partner and the light of my life had not heard before. So welcome to the funhouse. This is my life. I'm a dirty, hungry boy, and sometimes I do syrup as shots. So Hunter, would you like to embarrass yourself in front of the crowd now and take some of the weight off my shoulders?
Here's the thing. I'm trying
Okay,
to
you're
think
gonna
of
ask questions.
no. I'm trying to think of if
Okay,
I
yeah,
have
sure.
any breakfast-related embarrassing stories.
Oh, that's
And
just number one for
and
me.
I don't think I do.
Mm.
Um,
This is
I
surprising to
do.
me, actually.
I know, right? Like it seems like something I should have.
Would you like to? Because I bet if we streamed a breakfast, it would get embarrassing.
Oh man. I bet our highest attended stream ever would be if we went to Denny's together and played this game.
God, I can't eat like I used to. Please don't dare us to do this. Like,
this may be a goal for PAX East if we end up out there.
Yeah. For those
Because
of you
we'd be
who don't aware,
together.
we're planning on being at PAX East, and we're hoping to get on a panel. And I think the best way to get on a panel is to tell your followers to shout at the organizers, right?
Is that how it works?
Just like
yeah.
at the organizers.
I don't know who is in charge of it, but
I don't even know.
I think right now the best I mean, if you want us to be on a panel at PAX, we would love to be on a panel at PAX. PAX, if you're listening, we would love to do a panel. We will put something together and send it your way. But yeah, I have done some very stupid things in my life. I don't think the majority of them take place in the mornings because I don't like existing in the morning.
Yeah, Hunter makes an exception for all of us.
And I don't have an appetite in the morning the majority of the time. So there's very few, like, my breakfast is usually later in the day and it's usually classified as lunch.
Yeah.
Also, I was like big into the broke boy scene for a while. So like I fully embrace that if I have a very large lunch, I won't be hungry at dinner and I won't eat breakfast in the morning and then I eat another large lunch. So that's one meal a day, which means
never heard
financial savings.
Being broke expressed as an aesthetic before.
Yeah, the broke boy scene. Yeah, absolutely. Pax is a close personal friend of the show. A very good CPFS.
We're trying to make that catch on, by the way. If you hashtag
CPFS
is the CPFS isn't a hashtag already, but
I don't know, but it's gonna be ours. Whatever CPFS is now, it's ours. Start dominating it. It's also one of the emotes that I made is just CPFS with an exclamation point.
God.
But I will tell a story that I am embarrassed of still to this day.
I'm just scooching up closer to the feet of your armchair to listen to Grandpappy
tell us
Hunter.
The story, grandfather.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. I was young enough that it's not super weird, but old enough that it's burned into my memory forever.
I'm imagining much worse facial hair.
Oh, much worse. Because it was non-existent. I was probably like 10.
Oh, little baby Hunter.
Yeah, little baby Hunter. We are out at a Salvation Army or a Goodwill or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had to go to the bathroom. As you do when you're a little child.
I still go to the bathroom to this day.
And yes, yeah, absolutely. As do I. And I told my father, who we were there shopping with, that I needed a bathroom. And he went up to the front counter, and because there was no public restroom in this shop, there's only the employee one. He went up to the counter and he goes, "My son has to go to the bathroom. Do you have a bathroom he can use?" And they said no.
Oh no. Based on everything you've ever told me about your father and his like GMing style, I thought you were going to say that he made you roll for investigation in the middle of this shop
to find a bathroom.
Yeah.
No. They said no. They did not have a bathroom I could use. my dad was like, "No, well, no bathroom. We'll find one when we leave."
Sucks to suck there, champ.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And then my dad proceeded to take a very long time looking for the clothes that he was looking for. During which time I slowly lost the ability to continue to hold it. And I went up to the counter and I begged them to let me use the employee bathroom. They continued to say no. So I pissed my pants in a Salvation Army or a Goodwill or wherever we were. And then my dad had to buy a new pair of pants for me, which they then let me use the employee bathroom to change into.
The employee bathroom.
They wouldn't let me pee in it when I was just a child who needed a bathroom, but they let me use it to change into the pants I had just bought.
They don't believe in proactive.
Yeah,
like they don't believe in preventative use of the employee bathroom, only reactive use.
Close personal enemy of the show, either Sal Val or Goodwill, whichever one it was. But yeah, that is a memory that is burned into my brain forever. And I hope it is sufficiently embarrassing that it takes away some of your embarrassment of your story.
I think what hits interesting for me is that, like, your dad was at a point of parenthood where he was like, I know that, like, you're 10 years old. He's had 10 years on the job.
At 10 years old, I have 2 brothers at that point. So, like, he's been a dad for a while.
I have no plans on having children, as I've announced on this show before. Very sorry to all of you out there who have started the hashtag Paul Needs Kids. Sorry. But I have, like, been a camp counselor at summer camps, and I gotta tell you, within 48 hours, I had clocked kind of like, okay, who are my bedwetters? Who are my frequent flyers in the restroom? Like, I knew to like the close to rounded to the nearest hour what the bladder capacity was of whatever cabin I was
and
working
here's
with.
the thing, I have an iron bladder, which is to say, like, we used to road trip from Pennsylvania to Michigan. It's a 9-hour drive from our place to my grandma's place. We would drive that, and I would maybe use one bathroom break. Like, I prided myself in that. And so when I beg you to find me a bathroom, I probably need one really bad.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have a resilient bladder, but I make frequent preventative stops at my local unloading station. Because, one, I drink a lot of water. This is 40 ounces. I fill this up 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen my giant gallon jug that I drink from.
Yeah, I'm a very
in the other room, and I forgot to bring it in here, and it's very upsetting to me right now because I would love to be drinking right now.
Yeah, that's gonna be the clip. Just you saying, "I would love to be drinking."
I would love to be drinking right now. Honestly, like, doesn't matter what it is. Just, I would love to be drinking water,
and that's
juice, alcohol.
That's also the thing for me is, like, I love. Like, just if there's a drink in front of me, I will absentmindedly sip from it at an alarming rate, and suddenly it's empty. And that
I drink pretty much everything at the same pace.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But drive from Beaumont to El Paso in Texas to test your bladder? No, thank you. I will pass on that. But and Shanda's mama can confirm, I can and have held my need beyond, like, I will hold it beyond a level of, like, comfort into deep discomfort.
Paul,
for the sake of, like, politeness.
Paul, sometimes you say things, and I don't know if it's me having a dirty brain or you just saying things that you shouldn't. But sometimes you say things and they come across as definitely being sexual.
Because there were a lot of things I just said.
You
but
said you feel that you're very good at holding your need, and Shanta's mama can attest that you are very good at holding your need well past the point of comfort.
Yeah. Okay, but also like Shanta's mama and I did a road trip from Columbus to Fresno and back.
Sure.
That's the context. Get your minds out of the gutter, chat. But
it's me. It's not the chat. The chat said nothing. It was just me.
Okay. It's just you. But like, anyways, I feel like everyone has kind of their bladder personality, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
everybody
me,
knows what their bladder is capable of.
I'm on a very like generous schedule with my bladder personally, just at home. But like when I'm out, I'm very polite and I'm very reserved. You know, so that's me. And perhaps I should learn to give myself a little bit more slack.
At that. After 20 minutes of us talking about bladders, the chat has disappeared.
Yeah, huh? God damn it.
Shanta's mama calling you out in the chat. You wait right until before you leave the house to use the bathroom, and then you take forever.
It's the best time.
Right. Thank you, Shanta's mama, for being here. We appreciate
the right before you're going somewhere else, so that you have the maximum allowance of time, so that in theory you can do whatever your trip is to the store, to multiple stores.
Anytime you go anywhere, you need an empty tank and your car needs a full one.
Yes, exactly.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah. I top off the car and I bottom out myself, and we just go. Like, so yeah. I feel attacked in the chat, but it's okay. I love her very, very dearly, and she does know me better than anyone. And so, Hunter, I forgot what the fuck we were gonna talk about, because we've been talking about
a long time ago. We were going to talk about the breakfast stream. Even farther before that, you had proposed a game of talking about us as liches that we promptly abandoned and moved on. And at this point, I don't feel like we need to go back.
Yeah, no going back, only going forward. We are kangaroos, and fun fact: kangaroo
we are sharks, and if we stop swimming forward, we will die.
Yeah. Do you know the two animals that are on the Australian national flag?
No.
It's a kangaroo and an emu. And it's those two, I believe. Someone in the chat, check me on this. But it's because neither one of them can move backward. Neither one can walk backward.
Interesting.
And so it's both of them are like symbols of moving forward and progress. So yeah, that's a fun fact for y'all in the chat. Also, I think they're both, like, of course, native to Australia and only Australia. But I think we are at about a point where we try to thank our chat profusely. First off, thank you to everyone who's kind of new to the stream. I know a lot of you kind of saw us for the first time on Monday. We don't always talk about pissing our pants. That's actually a more recent development.
Yeah, that's brand new. It was a new bit. What'd you guys think? We're thinking about making it a recurring theme on the show that we each week we'll bring you a new pants pissing story.
We
want to make sure the chat is in on that.
We want to establish consent.
We'll take submissions from the audience about, like, when did you piss your pants?
This is just.
So that's a joke. That's a good joke. Yeah. That's a funny comedy thing we said. But yeah, thank you, chat, for being here for our nonsense. Don't be afraid of the nonsense. You can't be afraid.
Yeah, welcome to the nonsense. Favorite breakfast food? Ooh. We try not to pick favorites. In fact, when we rate other people's settings, we give them the whole bit.
I'll pick a favorite right now. Hash brown casserole.
hash brown casserole? You're gonna need to be more specific.
Freaking amazing.
What
I
goes
went
into
to
your
Cracker
hash brown
Barrel
casserole?
for breakfast yesterday.
That tracks. You're about 60.
I went to Cracker Barrel for breakfast tomorrow. I went to breakfast at Cracker Barrel with one of my friends yesterday. And they have this like hash brown casserole that is just incredible. It's like shredded potatoes and like cheese and all sorts of stuff. It's delicious. I could eat an entire bowl of that. That's so good.
God,
it is. The rest of the meal was Cracker Barrel. It was okay.
I think my favorite breakfast dish right now, and I'm only saying this because Shanta's mama is out of town and she makes a mean breakfast. But right now, while she's out of town, my favorite breakfast dish is James Buster Douglas, which I've talked about on this show before, but it is a absolute fuck your life up mess of meat, sausage gravy, eggs, hash browns, just every kind of breakfast meat you can name short of salmon is just piled high on top of hash browns and over easy eggs, and then like you pour sausage gravy over that, and it's amazing.
I've said it before, but I'll say it again, Paul. You may live in Ohio, but you're a Southern boy. That is I not to you. That is a very like Southern diner sort of meal in my book. That sounds incredible.
I talk about you behind your back an awful lot, and so
all
it's
the
hard
time.
For me to differentiate what I've said to your face.
Yeah.
But did you know that I call you a rat bastard a lot? Do I do that to your face?
I call my dog a little bastard boy all the time. Yeah. Well, his parents weren't married when he was conceived. That makes him a bastard.
Yeah. I call my little Mackie boy, he's one of our cats. I call him Mackie Boy Smacky Boy. And actually Shanta's mama has put me on an important mission while she's away, which is at least once a day, sing to him a tune that goes, Mackie Boy, Smacky Boy, Mac, 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 Smack, Smack, Smack. And I have been
an adorable song.
It is, yeah. He's our lovely little baby boy. He's so fucking cuddly. If it were my choice, our Instagram, our Warlocks and Waffles Instagram, which you can find at Instagram/Warlocks and Waffles,
we're also on Twitter and TikTok.
Yes, it would just and YouTube. It would just be photos of my cats.
Sure.
Like, holy shit.
Maybe we need to we need to have a like one day out of the week that we choose that is the day that both of us post a picture of our pets with something tangentially D&D related.
What about Fluffy Fridays?
To Instagram. Fluffy Fridays, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Every Friday, I will take a picture of my dog and send it to you every Friday for you to post with a picture of your cat.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Hell yeah. It's a thing. So yeah. But getting back to you might not realize it, chat, because we have talked about pissing ourselves for so long, but it's actually been going on for an hour. I know it feels like 5 hours because it's torture, but it's actually only been an hour.
They say time flies when you're having fun, which is why this has felt like an eternity.
You still have a full Christian hour left of us.
What's the hour Christian? I don't understand.
Because I think we should make a hard right turn. I think we should do a Sunday morning stream.
Yeah, it'll be good for our brand. Because you know what the Christian church loves and has always loved? Dungeons and Dragons.
Bastard dogs? Yeah, they love that.
Yeah, the Christian church has notoriously been a firm supporter of D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you who aren't old enough to remember, there was there yeah, on a Sunday morning no less. There was a thing that happened. Actually, like let's touch on this because it's a big thing, and Bob
Mhm.
Yo touches on it frequently when he's talking about kind of like the history of D&D, which if you're
Yeah.
not familiar with Bob Yo, DM Bob Yo, we interviewed him. You can see our interview on our YouTube channel. He's great. He knows so much about the history of D&D because for the most part,
Yeah,
he's
it's
just
very
been
good.
through all of it. But
We should have him back on sometime.
God, we should have him back on. But something that he lived through was in and is like a defining experience, a defining time for Dungeons and Dragons
Mhm.
was called the Satanic Panic, during
Mhm.
which a lot of evangelical Christian groups decided to turn their ire towards Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah.
because D&D was much like Harry Potter in its time and so many other forms of media, you know, Twilight, so many other things. Yeah, Tian FH, you probably know better what we're talking about than even we do because I wasn't alive during it. But
I
the
was not either.
Satanic Panic was hugely influential to the
Mhm.
game. Um, and if you look at old second edition and third edition like source books, especially
Mhm.
there was in second edition, there was a book or two that came out just about the Nine Hells, which really set off the Satanic Panic because oh my God, you're literally calling it hell. And
Yeah.
here are a bunch of devils and demons, which for those of you unaware, those are two different classes of creature in
Yeah.
D&D, and
Both
they go into
fiends, but
and they
they're
go into
different.
like whole reams of stuff. Now, here's the thing. They're very clear. The devils, demons, and you know the Yugoloths and all of these creatures of the lower planes are evil. At no point was it like, "And come with us, children. We shall show you how to become one of them." You know, it
Yeah.
was never that. It
My
was
my
just
favorite part was always the people saying, because I've read a lot of the like
Mhm.
propaganda that was put out.
Yeah.
I loved there was a running thing that you made a character, and when you made a character, like you had to put your soul into that character, and if that character died, you
Oh,
died. And like
yeah.
you would have to kill yourself if you're there's like all of this stuff that was just like, that's so messed up. What, like, why are you, it's a game. It's a
Mhm.
game where like 95% of the people playing are the heroes of the story.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It is it's wild. And also like at the same time, that was that was so far that misses the point almost
mhm.
entirely of D&D, right? And hi Maisie. And by the way, EO Gamer, we're so glad that you spend your work days with us.
Yeah.
But and Maisie, we're so glad that we can make your drive to work just a little bit more embarrassing. So yeah, like the Satanic Panic was huge, and it came to kind of like define the public perception of D&D for a long time.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, I mean, when I first got into D&D,
mhm,
I was at like a youth retreat with the church.
mhm.
And one of our youth leaders introduced us to a game. It wasn't D&D, but it was a tabletop role-playing game.
Yeah.
And so he introduced us to this game, and I got home and was like telling my parents, I was like, "Yeah, Brian taught us this really cool game. And like we were rolling dice and we played a character, and we got to do all this stuff."
Yeah.
And my dad or my mom goes, "That sounds like D&D. That's
Yeah.
evil.
Right.
You shouldn't be playing that. I can't believe
Yeah.
Brian would do that." And my dad goes, "That sounds like D&D. I played that in high school and college. We should play."
Yeah. Mhm.
And so it really was this whole thing of like, my mom like grew up in that era as well, and so my we had to go through and like sort of teach my mom what the game actually was.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
remember like a lot of the people I played with in high school were like people from the youth group.
Right.
And so I would have to like, I had a whole pamphlet that I would like take to the parents of my friends that I wanted to play so that they could read what D&D
Wow.
actually was. And like it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Of like figuring all of that out, and like it's not something that went away. I think
And
it is diluted
yeah.
in more recent years, but it's not
Yes.
something that ever
Well,
firmly left.
and if we can kind of like take a moment to kind of zoom out and see this as like one example of uh, a larger trend of kind of reactionary backlash to
Sure.
the hobby. There are other examples, notably in recent years. There have been people coming out and saying like, well, I don't understand why they needed to tell us that these NPCs in these written modules are queer or are non-binary. I don't know why they needed to tell us that female like it's in the player's handbook. It says like characters of any gender can be just as capable as any other character. Like I don't remember the exact wording, but they put it pretty well. And there are people who take umbrage with that. And most of those people look like us because they're unaware of what it is to be in a minority group that is being oppressed.
And representation is like
representation is huge.
People will point to, like, it's so absurd to me that people will point to like a character in a show and be like, I don't understand why that character had to be like a different nationality or like a queer person or something like that. I don't understand why they had to be that way. And then they would be just, it's crazy to me. Like there's so much representation for straight white people. Like,
And like
it is what it is.
It is what it is. And it's also like when you if you look like us and you feel kind of a nagging scratch at the back of your mind when you see a character that is that is black or brown in a work of fantasy, or is queer, or is or speaks with an accent that is not Western European English. You feel kind of like a nagging itch at the back of your mind of like, well, that's weird. Why would they do that? You only think that's weird because that's probably the first time that you've been exposed to it, which isn't your fault.
Sure.
For a long time, no one has done that. No one is like, look at Lord of the Rings. There are, in that whole 11 hours of movie, almost no black characters exist. And the Middle Eastern characters that exist are evil. And so like, it's not your fault that you haven't seen this, but so it feels weird at first. But Shanta's mama brings up a good point. Why wouldn't there be black people? Why wouldn't there be queer people? And that is the question that we should be
also asking. in a world where, like, going back to D&D, in a world where there is literally, in old editions, there was an item called the girdle of femininity masculinity, which was an item that just would switch your gender. That's all it did. Didn't do anything else. It just changed what your gender was. In a world where things like that exist, why is it shocking that there are gay people?
Right, exactly.
Like,
well, that, or also like, in a world where literally anything is possible, why would you restrict the realm of possible things to only those things you've experienced?
Absolutely. Magic is a thing.
magic is a thing. If you can believe in magic but not gay people, then you might need to reorient your priorities. But which that's not about like
if you have no problem believing that dragons can attack a city, but
right,
you refuse to believe that one NPC is gay.
right.
Yeah.
So and we're not saying that that's true of anyone in our audience. I think like
Yeah.
we've cultivated an audience that's like chill and understands these things.
Sure.
But it's still important for us to kind of like say this. But you know, like there are people still today who like are still pushing that satanic panic, and it goes along hand in hand with all this other crap that is terrible.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, it's just a
these are
different
beautiful
name now.
games.
Yeah.
These are wonderful games, and they get more wonderful when more people play them and are honest about who they are and
Yeah.
what they want while playing them.
Yeah.
And
I
so yeah.
Yeah, Maisie in the chat said that they when they wanted to run a game for the kids that they work with, they had to explain to the residential director that they weren't summoning demons.
Yeah.
Which I went through a very similar thing because I used to work at a boarding school for like troubled youth.
Mhm.
And I worked at that school. I was in the house staff, and I worked with like a bunch of these 13 to 18-year-old kids.
Mhm.
And when I came down there, I was like, "Ooh, I want to teach them D&D." Like, I know that D&D was a huge creative outlet for me. It helped me like
Mhm.
cope with and understand a lot about myself. Because when you make a character and you start going through and doing stuff as that character, you there's going to be parts of you that'll come out in it.
Right. Mhm.
You can try as much as you want. Something about you will come out in the character that you make if
Mhm.
you're putting
Yeah.
yourself into it.
Mhm.
Um, and so
Or even if you're not intentionally putting yourself into it.
mhm,
Like that's such a common thing that I see where people are like, "Why are all of my characters angry at their parents?" And I'm like,
right.
you might be angry
Are
at your
you?
parents. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
And that's, you know, like I am not a mental health professional, but
Mhm,
you can't avoid putting a little bit of yourself into
yeah.
a character you're playing. That's just true.
Yeah, and that was my point to like the higher up staff at the boarding school I worked at. Was I was like, they this helped me through my like angsty upset at everything period of
Pissing your
growing
pants
up.
childhood.
Yeah, pissing my pants in a Salvation Army.
Mhm.
The and so I like had to walk them through like, this is what it is.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, any any resident there that wanted to play, we had to clear it with their parents to make
Yeah.
sure that it was okay. And
Yeah.
I had kids that desperately wanted to play, but I wasn't allowed to play with them because their parents weren't cool with it.
Yeah.
And so like it was a very frustrating experience to be like, listen, I would love for you to be able to play. I'm not allowed to. I'm not
Mhm.
allowed to run for you.
Yeah.
Um and there some of them I was then able to like run for later because like I would talk with their parents, or
Mhm.
their parents would
Yeah.
come to visit and I'd be able to show them what the game actually was.
Mhm.
But a lot of them I never got to play with, and that's
God.
very, very frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I haven't run into that myself because like I run almost exclusively for adults.
Hmm.
And I think it could be cool to run games for kids, but there's also
I
like
love a good kid game. Like,
yeah,
kids come up with some nonsense that I
they do.
absolutely
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, there's an Instagram account that I follow and I'm blanking on the name of it, but like all they post is like suggestions for D&D adventures and adventure hooks that
Hmm.
are just a 5-year-old coming up with shit, and it's some of the most creative stuff because they don't know what's wrong to say, so like they just say things.
Right.
Anyways, uh thank you all for like being the wonderful people that you are.
Hmm.
And for one, letting us talk about kind of these things that are just true about the community. but two, for a lot of you, when we talk about kind of these more serious sides of the game, you bring your own experience to the chat, which is like huge. That's unnecessary. No one, we want you to feel totally comfortable, but like the fact that you do is just huge. When we talked about our own struggles with attention deficit, there were not only like other testimonials in the chat, but also like questions from people who
Yeah.
just like don't know. And like that, yeah, that's huge. Like, when do I ever get to talk about uh mental health and have people ask me questions about my personal struggles? Almost never, because therapy is expensive. But um the the ability to kind of like have a space here where some of you clearly feel comfortable like sharing in a conversation with us about some pretty serious stuff in the community. I think it's really, really wonderful and beautiful.
Mhm.
And so with that, let's get back to our dumb comedy podcast, shall we?
Yeah, that's a great transition.
Yeah.
We are past the halfway point, which means we do usually talk about what's coming up that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Hunter,
Um,
yeah, what do we got?
yeah, let me pull up our calendar. Tell a
Hmm.
joke while I find it.
Yeah, so once upon a time, there was a boy who was really, really good at eating and really, really bad at telling jokes. And he went into a Denny's and ate way too much pancake batter that had been turned into pancakes. Don't know why I phrased it that way. And a whole lot of syrup. And he slept for 18 hours and could not walk the next day. So
Mhm.
no relation to me.
That was a very funny joke.
Yes.
Okay, so the next thing that we have is Alchemy RPG is going to be
Hmm.
on
Oh, they're
the
good.
show on Monday.
Hmm.
They've got some very, very cool stuff. They've got um a uh, a book that's coming out or came out. It was on Kickstarter. It was very, very cool. I've been reading through it. The adventure in the world that they've built there is very cool.
Hmm.
They also have created music that is made to go along with
Hmm.
the adventure, and there's like QR codes that you can scan on the
Yeah.
pages to go to the correct music for that
Awesome.
scene. It's so
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
And then they have Alchemy RPG, which Alchemy RPG is their like whole platform that they've created that is going to be sort of a immersive gaming platform. And I won't go into too much on it because I want them to be able to pitch it better than I can. um, but that's very exciting.
Hmm.
And then not tomorrow, but next Friday,
Yeah.
we have our Jackbox night,
Yeah.
which is gonna be a lot of fun. I've brought on C17R and Davy Jones from the chat. Both of them are going to be playing. So
I'm bringing on J Puck and Lucky Day from the chat.
yeah,
They're gonna be playing Jackbox with us. So we're gonna have
so it's going to be
four of
four of our
our
people.
wonderful
Um,
subscribers, listeners.
And
Um,
I don't know what Jackbox we're playing or what games on Jackbox we want to do. I think
we're
we
gonna figure it
definitely
out.
need to do like Quiplash at some point.
Quiplash is a very good one.
It's a
Yeah,
must.
it's an
But
absolute must.
we'll make sure that we can we'll put the like the audience code in once everybody's in the game so that everybody who's watching can also join in and vote on which answers they think are best and be a part of the game as well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be it should be a fun time.
Yeah.
Also this month we've got Hit Point Press is coming on, which Hit Point Press made Humblewood, if you're familiar with that one.
Mhm.
Fantastic setting.
Yeah.
They've also made things like Heckna and the Griffin Saddlebag, which is a very cool book that is
Oh my God! Right. They Hit Point Press's Griffin's Saddlebag is
yeah.
a
I
wonderful
picked
little
that up
thing,
at PAX. It's basically just tons and tons and tons of additional magic items for
and
5e.
they're so
Um,
good.
and
If
they're
you
so good, and
if you
like all of them are just so much fun. They've got
we're so
one
excited.
here. Let's see, I'll just read one of them here. The Hasty Sugar Bomb. This enchanted sweet can be eaten using an action to increase your movement speed by 5 feet for 1 hour.
Yeah.
And then it has the upset stomach feature. You can only be under the effect of one sugar bomb that has this feature at a time. Eating a sugar bomb that has this feature while under the effects of another one causes the effects of the first sugar bomb to immediately end and be replaced by the new ones. The rapid change is difficult for the stomach, forcing you to make a DC 13 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, you gain the effects of the new sugar bomb, but become poisoned for 1 minute. On a success, you gain the effects of the new sugar bomb and are not poisoned.
Yeah, that's good shit.
They're so good.
And there's so many of them. At this point, I think they're like, if you that printed version is wonderful. There's also like a searchable PDF that you can download, and if anyone like you see the library of books that Hunter has behind him. I don't actually collect the physical copies all too much because like I'm somewhat newer to the hobby, but also like the PDFs tend to be a little bit cheaper, and I use digital copies of almost everything because Control F is my friend.
I am a completionist, so I need both.
Yeah, that's okay.
Mostly because I like flipping through pages, and then I also anytime they have like, here is the regular version and here's the not regular version, I'm like, well, I need the not regular version.
Yeah,
that one's very cool. Like, I have spent a very long time collecting all of the alternate art books for D&D.
Those are expensive, some of them.
Well, if you get them in the resale, yeah. I have been collecting them as they come out, so the majority of the time it's the same price.
Right.
The one that eluded me for a long time was Volo's Guide, which was the first one that they released like that. And they didn't think it was going to be something that people would
it was a very
really
limited
go
printing.
after, so it's very limited. And I remember finding it at a Barnes and Noble and being like,
oh my God,
that's super cool. I'm running late for D&D, I'll come back and get this some other time. And then they were sold out everywhere. I did end up finding one at a convention like a year or two ago. I guess it was more than that because COVID shut down all the conventions. But it was, I think, 2019. But I found one there that was like, it was more than a regular book, but it wasn't as expensive as it should have been. And I was like, perfect. It was meant to be. But yeah, they're very pretty. So Hit Point Press is coming on the 17th. And then 1985 Games is coming on the 24th. Which the 24th are 1985 Games is, they make a bunch of different like maps and tokens and stuff like that. They do a lot of really, really cool stuff. So I'm excited to have them on. I've backed them on Kickstarter a while ago. We've also got cool people coming up in February. And I also just booked a guest for the middle of March. This
cool stream will be live at least through March. We will have shows hopefully at least through March. But yeah, thank you all so much. We're so excited. We can't do this without you, which I think is like something that we don't say often enough. Of like, we are entirely like, we're at the point where potential sponsors are asking us about our audience and reach, and I'm a numbers guy. Like, I think Monday, like, we were like, we made a goof about like, well, and then a D20 splits and all of the sides of the D20 come up all at once, and I said like, and the total of that is 210. That's just because I love math, and I did some math in the moment.
Dork.
The average of a D20, the average roll is a 10.5. You multiply the average by the total number of sides. That's 20. 20 times 10.5 is 210. And so, like, I love the numbers. You can ask Hunter. I talk about the numbers almost incessantly. And so we're able to tell people that, like, we might be a good show to back because you're here. And, like, that's wild. Like the numbers are representative of all of you giving a shit about what we're doing. And that is what blows my mind. It's not like I don't care that much about the number 40. I care a lot about the number 40 if it represents how many unique people tuned in over the course of 2 hours, you know? And so thank you so much. We really appreciate all of you for tuning in. And you're wonderful. You're are some of our favorite people in the world.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So Hunter, um, would you like to tell the story of how we came to the back half bit, or do we have any more people that we need to thank?
I think that's
I
it
mean,
for thanking people right now.
yeah, I'd like to thank
The
Hunter's dad, Bunter McGunter. Um,
yeah, that's right. The so I messaged Paul this morning and it was like, I think I've got a good bit for like the back half of the show. And he was like, cool. I've got a bit for the like beginning of the show. I was like, awesome. And then we got in the call before, and he was like, okay, here's my bit. And I was like, that's funny because that's my bit. And so they're not like 100% the same, but they were like close enough that we're like,
they were like 95% the same
they're
exact
95%
fucking bit.
of the thing. Yeah.
So independently, we both imagined the same bit this morning, I guess. And so we're gonna throw this at you from our like joint brain. And the bit is essentially we're going to have a random character generator generate character prompts for us. And can we do the audience participation thing?
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay? Cool. So we're going to have a random character generator generate character prompts for us, and it's going to look a lot like this. This is who the fuck is my D&D character.com. Go ahead, check them out. They're wonderful. And it's very curse heavy, which is unfortunate because this is a family show, so fuck you. But it generates kind of like a lovely little one sentence description of a character without giving you so much that you can't build off of it. And we're going to do exactly that. We're going to build off of it. Here's where you come in, the viewers. We're going to build off of this. And what the twist is, if you put a one-word message in the chat, we will kind of choose one of those one-word messages to as a like cornerstone from which we build the characters. So it could be something like xylophone, and I think that could be very fun to build a character.
I mean, clearly it's a bard.
And so like that will spin what we're doing here pretty hard. And so we're just gonna be like quick building characters. I think like if we find one that's very fun, we'll go with that. But we've already got some creeps, spelled CREAPS. I don't know if that's
supposed to be
correct. Crepes, yeah. But if you want, I will also say that like if you want to really 12 monkeys is technically 2 words, but I'll allow it.
You failed.
If you want to, like, if you highlight your message with waffle points, we'll take an extra good look at it. But if it's something like penises, like, probably not as much. So yeah. I'm gonna click. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first here?
You go first. Go ahead.
Cool. Okay, it's a hardworking human fighter from a war-torn city who refuses to bathe.
Ooh.
And just first suggestion here, all caps, is peaches. Okay, I have this.
Do you?
Yeah. His name is John McHatesoap. And he hates soap. John Peaches McHatesoap. And he hates soap because he's pretty sure that his peach farm, which he ran with his wife, was overrun and torn apart by the invasion that destroyed his city, and turned into a soap factory instead on the same grounds. This guy knows everything about peaches. He loves the curve of peaches. He loves the taste of peaches. He loves a good peach pie. He has an excellent recipe for peach pie, and he refuses to bathe because the company that makes soaps is allied with the organization, the invading presence that now occupies his former home and is the reason his wife has passed. So as retaliation, he never bathes.
Perfect.
And so yeah, that's my character concept.
I mean, I don't really give a fuck about that guy.
End of statement.
No, it's the button that you have to click to get the next prompt.
Okay, cool. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, fuck it, whatever. All right, you're up.
A level-headed half-elf ranger from a camp of army followers who drunkenly swore a blood oath and forgot what for. That's incredible. Okay, I feel like this can be pretty rapid fire here. I see two prompts in the chat for hippie. I think that fits really well here. Because I'm picturing just a hippie half-elf ranger who's just sort of sitting in the camp. They've all drunkenly sworn this oath. They forgot what they're supposed to be fighting for, and he's just like, "Oh, dude, war, man. What is it good for?" End of prompt. Next one.
All right. An insensitive gnome bard from a small town wizarding school who can't silence the voices. And our suggestion here is lollipop.
Lollipops.
Okay, so he's a gnome bard from a small town wizarding school, which is two different classes, wizard and bard. And I think this bard thinks he's a wizard. And he's got kind of like a possession thing going on. There are like other voices in his head. And he uses a lollipop thinking
as
it's
his
a
arcane
wand.
focus.
Yeah, like he uses it in like a Harry Potter wand.
Is the school of candy.
Yeah, and like it's a small town wizarding school. It's like the SUNY Oneonta of wizarding schools. And
it's a deep pull.
For those upstate New York listeners. But they didn't really cover arcane focuses very well, so it's not, the lollipop is not magic at all. He thinks he's a wizard, but actually like he hums like little tunes to himself, and that's actually where his magic is coming from. And he sings only like songs about sweet things. So this ranges from
lollipop,
lollipop is very, very good. That's how he gives that's sometimes how he gives bardic inspiration. He also sings milkshake.
Oh yes,
and so
that's a summoning spell though, because it does bring all the boys to the yard.
It sure does, yeah. So that's this gnome bard who think he a wizard but actually is a bard.
Love that.
And he's just very bad at it. Okay, cool. You're up.
Dramatic elf fighter from a frozen jungle who has cheated death more times than they deserve. Oh, that's very good. Fair. No.
Only suggestion in the chat is a fair.
Well timed, Limug.
He had that one in the chamber waiting.
He did. He was just like, okay. Yeah. Dramatic elf fighter from a frozen jungle who has cheated death more times than they deserve. Here's the thing. This statement here is incredibly literal. They have cheated on death more times than
no.
Death deserves. Death is a very loyal companion to this elven fighter. And they've cheated him. You know what? I think this fighter took a couple levels of cleric. And had this deal with Death that he was supposed to be like sending souls to him. That's a very dramatic elven thing to do. But then he took a couple levels of cleric and started healing his companions, and Death is just sitting there heartbroken that that their elven fighter would be just very, very hurtful.
Yeah. I think there's something there about like, I think that could be a very beautiful storyline, actually.
Yeah.
Where like Death, like I think in the climax of that storyline, not to give away too much, if you're interested in watching a full season
during the climax of the affair.
Okay, I'm not the horniest one here right now. The like maybe I would have him have like a one-on-one with Death. You know, where like Death is like, listen, like I bear no ill will to these people.
Right.
But
their ends must come, though.
It is. I understand that you're trying to keep them alive.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and then maybe Death like has an ability to kind of like view into the future a little bit. Like Death is maybe a little bit precognitive and is able to say like, this is the world if they don't die right now. Like the threads of reality unspool if they don't perish, and I am the guardian of that order. So I know you want to keep them alive, but it's their time, and we can stretch this fabric a certain amount, but it will tear eventually, and they can't just keep staying alive. I think that could be great. I don't know. I love that.
It's a good NPC. I like it.
Yeah.
It'll find its way into my world somewhere.
Okay. Hot-headed human paladin from the Dungeon Inspectors Guild, local number 422, who has gotten away with murder. And
incredible.
The prompt is bullywug.
Bullywug.
Okay, hold on.
Actually,
I see God Complex.
I see God Complex, which works very well for this.
It works very well with this. And this is the way that I'm going to go here. Which is that this... Don't
Bullywug
worry,
is next, Blue Collar. We'll get to it.
Yeah, we got you. The way this works is she's been like given a hard time her whole life. The Dungeon Inspectors Guild is filled with like meatheads who like are willing to go down and like do the dirty job that no one else wants to do. Like they're regularly featured on like World's Toughest Jobs reality shows and stuff. Yeah. And she's out here and she doesn't really get on the shows because like she's had to become hard as a flint to kind of stay in this industry. And she's gotten away with murder once because she was deep in a dungeon. You never go into a dungeon alone. Sure. That's kind of like rule number 1, Dungeon Inspectors Guild. They used to, and then they formed a guild and like they were like, all right, we're gonna have some fucking safety standards up in here. You don't get to send solo dungeon inspectors in anymore. So she was down there with her partner, and she murdered her partner.
What reason?
The reason being that like he was trash talking her god.
Oh, okay.
Who is a god of cleanliness. And she murdered
That's how they
him.
knew how to clean up the murder scene.
She murdered him, cleaned up the murder scene, and she did such a fucking good job as a paladin of cleanliness that she thinks she is the aspect of cleanliness now. That like her touch is like in the sense of like cleanliness is next to godliness. Like that's her catchphrase, and she's pretty sure she's moving toward godhood. Like that is her paladin zeal, is like, I
Excellent.
am becoming
She's
God.
destined to replace that god. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, awesome. Next up,
a pensive tiefling rogue from a haberdashery who bribed a nobleman to help them smuggle slaves out of a tyrannical kingdom.
wow,
Wow.
what a noble
Um,
motivation here.
that is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want, I can be a stuffy nobleman if you want to play out a scene, but just you do you.
The I think that this tiefling, fun fact about tieflings, tieflings can be born to any race. They are an anomaly in a bloodline. They are not necessarily a people. And so I think that this tiefling was born to a family of bullywogs.
Is a
And
bullywug with horns?
it's a bullywog with horns. It's a little oh, it's a devil toad.
Oh, there it is. That's
I
so
am
much.
I am brilliant.
I was gonna say a hornplug, so that's better.
No, a devil toad. They so they work in this haberdashery because they have these large horns
like
on their head.
like a Jersey way of saying it's a haberdashery.
It's a haberdashery. They work in this haberdashery because they have these large horns that they need to hide, and the easiest way to do that is to have easy access to a large assortment of custom hats. And
how do they explain away the tail?
They say they just never grew out of it from their tadpole phase. So they have been getting these custom hats made to hide their horns for years. And then they realize they go down into the basement the one day and they find out that the haberdasher is utilizing slave labor to make all of these hats. And so they make a deal with one of the local nobles who runs a shipping business to get all of these slaves out of the kingdom. And then they just sort of swim away off to a little tropical island paradise.
Wait, so you do an Australia crime island to them?
No, he swims away. The devil toad swims away, not
the freed slaves.
The freed
are
slaves.
Not,
the freed
not
slaves
exiled
are
to a
brought
different
to
place.
a better kingdom and given a great job.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad we cleared it up. Okay, broad-minded dragonborn rogue from an underground city who suffers from a recurring nightmare. The suggestion of flower is very good for this because I think this dragonborn rogue, I think they have never seen a flower.
Ooh, okay.
And the recurring nightmare, which
because
kind of like
because it's an underground city.
Right, yeah. So they've grown up on the mean streets of this underground city.
What's the city called?
The city is called is called the Tunnel.
Okay.
Because actually, like, it's an underground city linking to. It started just as like a like the English Channel, the Channel. It started as that, but then the workers developed out, like, they needed to have like refreshment stations along the 20 miles that were closer than just the shoreline, and that slowly built out into communities, and then like a city was established underground. And
I like that.
They suffer from a recurring nightmare wherein a flower begins to grow in the heart of the city, and its roots spread through the city and then crack the retaining walls that are keeping the ocean above from
Oh.
from spilling into the tunnel
Okay.
and like flooding, killing millions of people.
Yeah.
And they have this repeating like unfortunate dream, this nightmare, and they one day see a flower blooming in
Okay.
a garden of like a nobleman,
Sure.
and
A
they
flower would be sort of terrifying if you had never seen one before. Like they're
Mhm.
beautiful, but like they're weird and alien looking if you have no concept of what one is.
Right, and it's blooming naturally, like it's planted in the soil,
Sure.
and they like come up to it, and they're there, like it distracts them from the job they're on, and that's kind of like how it looks identical to the
Mhm.
flower from their nightmares,
Sure.
with kind of like a purplish uh petal, like 5 purplish petals that kind of like bleed into red and then kind of like a dark brown at the center.
Mhm.
And that is the beginning of their grand journey,
Mhm.
to save their city, their friends, and to uncover kind of like the floral roots of
Yeah.
this problem.
I like that.
So yeah, thanks. So cool. Do you want to do one or two more here?
Let's do one more.
Okay, cool.
Impatient halfling bard from the lizard-infested marshlands who was raised by ghosts.
That's a
I
sentence.
I love that. And I'm gonna pull. I know it's multiple words, but I feel like her crab fisherman is very, very good. For a little halfling bard in the swamps.
Oh, that's
That
good.
that's very fun for me. They're definitely like saltwater swamps, which I believe is like is that a marsh?
I
There's a
think you might
specific
be
word for it.
right.
Um,
No, marshes are
a
different
saltwater
in some other
wetland.
way. Uh,
Is
it's a salt marsh.
a salt marsh. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
like the book.
sure.
Um,
So they are this bard who is raised by ghosts. I think the ghosts are also bards. And so he's just been raised in this family
wow.
of bards. And he's this extremely impatient halfling. The thing I think is important to know about him is that he has been raised in sort of this weird way where song is just a way that you communicate. So he sort of lives inside of a musical
Oh,
at all
wow.
times because he just will burst into song, just sing about various things. And then
Mhm.
also there's these ghosts that are just floating around him that will chime in and also like take part in the musical.
Mhm.
And so he's just constantly living inside of this musical, and so he'll be just sitting in like a tiny boat in the marshlands like fishing for crabs. I don't know how you fish for crabs. It's a cage, right?
Not like that. Yep.
um so he's got like all his little crab traps out there, and he'll row his boat out to them and sing songs about like when will his adventure begin, that
It's
uh
very
he's
tangled. When will my life begin?
yeah, when is he like when is he gonna go off and become the hero in the story that he's been told his whole life?
Yeah.
That
Hey, Disney,
uh
we can auction off the rights to this story if you
this
like
is
it, because
yeah,
this
this
is
is
very Disney
it's
of old.
very Disney. But yeah, so he just sort of sings his stories. He also has never caught a crab. He goes out into the swamps every day to catch them, but he's too impatient and he doesn't leave the crab trap sitting there long enough, and so he just never catches them.
Yeah, no, I love that. Can I know an unreasonable amount about crab fishing. and lobster fishing.
I feel like this is often the case where you just have a large amount of information on something that no one needs to have amount of information on.
So this is fun crab fishing facts with Paul. Our
Welcome,
new
welcome to
segment
our new segment, Fun Crab Fishing Facts with Paul.
So I'm most familiar with the lobster fishing industry in Maine. I'm also somewhat familiar with the crab fishing industry in Maryland, which is hot.
Okay.
If you ever drive down
Oh,
the
I
coast of
live close
Maryland,
to Maryland. I'm aware of the
you
crab
will
fishing.
see every restaurant offers Maryland blue crab, and they all claim to be the best. But
it's like coffee in New York.
Yes. So Limelight says they only know about the two industries because of RuneScape. But it's actually like in Maine especially, lobster fishing is a very lucrative industry to get into, which makes sense. Because all you need is a boat and some traps. Those are like the elements you need. But you also like the story of lobster fishing in Maine actually involves other species other than lobsters. So like if you read John Smith's journals, the guy from Pocahontas, he talks about sailing up the Maine coast and the ship stopped dead in the water because there were so many herring that they couldn't move forward.
That's incredible.
And that used to be true. And then big industrial fishing companies came in, overfished the herring population to death, and now they're gone. And that happened with a couple other species of commercial fish as well. And then finally, the lobster fishermen saw the writing on the wall because the lobster fishermen were all like small-time family lobster fishermen, and they formed they put in place some laws and also like local almost unions where like and every small coastal town in Maine there is a council of lobster fishermen who regulate they regulate within their own waters.
I'm sorry, I do need to interrupt because Snowcat McDobron said that Maine is the only state in the union to have a dead animal on their license plate. And I pulled up a picture of a Maine license plate, and it's a picture of like a lobster out on a rock. But that lobster is definitely bright red, which means it is steamed and dead. And somebody took a dead lobster and put it out on a rock in the wild, which seems like it seems wild to me that the person designing it seems wild to me that somebody designing the license plate for Maine didn't know that a red lobster was dead.
I think it's anyways, we can get more into kind of like the marketing of Maine, but
we don't have to though.
But each of these small councils of lobster fishermen essentially act as a gang. And these small councils have turf. So like they know to within like 50 yards where their zone in the water ends.
I like that.
And where the next town's begins. And if they see, because every lobster fisherman also has a unique buoy coloration pattern. If they see a buoy that they don't recognize in their waters, they will cut the line on that buoy, which is essentially just like saying like, fuck you, you don't get that trap back. And so just by like gang turf enforcement, they have made it nearly impossible for an industrial scale lobster fishing industry to take place. And so all of the lobster caught in Maine is small scale lobster fishermen just working with the other lobster fishermen in their area to make sure that everyone is following the rules. And so like one, that's a story about like the triumph of organized labor. But two, the rules that they put in place like 30 years ago at the state level require that like if a female is caught and she has eggs, she gets a notch in her tail, and that lobster can never be caught ever again. that
Right.
you can't keep it, and there's a minimum size that a lobster has to be, so you can't catch a small runty one. And
Right.
there's also a maximum size. So like if they get to a certain size without being caught, lobsters are just allowed to stay alive forever. And incidentally, larger female lobsters produce the number of eggs that they produce goes up with the square of their size. So a female lobster twice as large will produce 4 times as many eggs.
Huh.
And so the lobster catch, the total lobsters caught, goes up year over year. They have their best record year every year, and the lobster population goes up every year.
Right.
Because they are executing good wildlife management principles. And at this point, like if any lobster fisherman deviated from that and tried to sell at market a female lobster that had a notch in its tail, he would lose his license. And so it's do yourselves a favor, go visit Acadia National Park. It's up in Maine. It's gorgeous, but also like this is what organized labor can do. If you're unaware, like organized labor can do a lot of cool things. And so like the entire lobster fishing industry is possible in Maine because like 30 or 40 years ago, they got together and said like, we're not going to allow some big, huge corporation to take over. And they've done it. And it's amazing. So anyways, end of
I
rant.
love that. I have in my world, I have this one little town that's a halfling city. That I've always like the primary like money maker for that city has always been fishing, but I feel like I really want to reevaluate it and make it much more like lobster gang fishermen, and do like little halfling mafias that are controlling the different fishing areas.
What
That's
a
very
snappy
fun.
boy. Snap, 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 snap.
Oh man. Lock Me Up, thank you for following. Celestial Fox Mom, thank you for following.
Yeah. Oh, God, I'm getting
We
lightheaded
appreciate
again.
you guys.
God.
Oh man. Well, that was a fun little bit about lobsters. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
As I'm
would you
sure
like the
everyone knows from
punchline of that
listening.
story?
Sure, go for it.
I don't even like lobster.
My fiance
I just
won
like the lobster fishing industry.
My fiance won a Red Lobster gift card for Christmas movie trivia. And so we're gonna go to Red Lobster at some point here. But I don't have a strong opinion on lobster. But crab legs with butter does hit different. You are right, Limug. I love seafood. I don't like fish. If that makes sense. A lot of people harass me for it.
I'm the polar opposite. I love fish and I'm not about shellfish.
See, I will eat crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, clams. I've had oysters on the rocks, like whatever it is, I will eat it. It's delicious. Don't like fish. Don't like the smell, don't like the taste, don't like the texture.
This is going to become kind of our like maybe a running like war between us, a schism, because if you're team fish, get in the comments, and if you're team crab,
you say it's gonna start a war. I think we've discovered another thing that makes us perfect partners here, because we will never argue. If we order a seafood platter, we will never argue over what each of us gets.
If we go to Red Lobster, we can just clean house between the two of us. Like, we would like one of everything on your menu. I don't think you understand.
Lock Me Up says Team Cow. Agreed. I would argue Team Pig just for bacon, but cow is a close second.
I'm a big fan of Team Chicken and Turkey. Team Poultry.
Chicken's good.
Olives are garbage, except olive oil, very good.
Olive oil is very good. Also, regular, like not black olives. Black olives are, but like a good like Kalamata olive. Oh my goodness, yes, please.
I dislike olives so much I don't even know what a Kalamata olive is.
They're the like slightly purplish ones.
I believe you.
They're like I think they're Greek.
Okay, cool. Wait. I associate olive oil and Greece so much that I'm having trouble. Like I couldn't identify an olive that isn't Greek. Like
if you're Greek and highly offended, get in the comments.
Yeah.
This has been a really weird end
stream
to our it has. You know what I think it is?
We're both
C17R never got in the chat at the beginning.
He did,
and did he? I never saw him come up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, C17R, sound off because I saw you, bud.
Oh yeah, you did. You came in right at the beginning. There we go. Never mind. He was here.
Let's not blame us having a hard time coming up with good content on one of our audience members.
Oh, I wasn't going to. I was going to say I missed him, and that's why I wasn't funny. But instead he was here, so now he threw me off, and it is his fault.
I would like to comment on something Shanta's mama has said, which is olives equals Mediterranean, y'all. And I would like to misinterpret that as where we would say y'all, Mediterranean people would say olives. So which feels good, like olives.
Mediterranean people being like, howdy, olives.
Yeah. And yeah, I love that. That's very olives.
C17R just chimed in to say that it is his fault, so I'm glad we've agreed on this.
Oh, cool.
I
love it when we have someone to blame.
We love you. Yeah, we love a good scapegoat here at Warlocks and Waffles.
We should make a magic creature called a scapegoat. But anyways,
yes,
it's a goat.
It's summoned. It's a monster that is summoned by you blaming somebody who wasn't involved.
Ooh, yeah, that's good. And like, oh god,
that seems like a good
character name.
That seems like a good segment for the next.
If you would like to see us definitely remember this bit to develop out next stream, come on back, y'all. We will be here next week, Monday, with Alchemy Press.
Alchemy RPG.
Alchemy RPG is going to be talking about their wonderful setting, which is Ethera. Oh my god, they sent us over the PDF to kind of like review it.
Really
it's
pretty.
Very, very, very pretty. It's wonderful.
I picked up the book at PAX, and the artwork is just stunning.
It's a slamming. Oh my god.
I started pulling up Alchemy RPG just so I can like listen to the music while I'm doing other things.
That's very good
because it's very, very good stuff.
Yeah.
We're excited to have them on.
Pumped. And then on Thursday, it's going to be us two chuckleheads doing this again. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead, come on back Thursday at 10 a.m. Same time, same place. And
same bat time, same bat channel.
Monday with Alchemy is going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you have never tuned into our special interview segments, we bring the same energy, but then other people are there. And so they help.
And usually they're fairly uncomfortable because they're like, "Why are they yelling at us?"
Yeah. So where can you find that music? Don't worry. If you tune in Monday, we're definitely gonna like ask them that question. I don't think either of us like off the top of our head know where you can find the music. But
I'm excited though. It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be so fun. And next week, also Friday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we are going to be doing our first of possibly many Jackbox nights, depending on how well it goes. If you want there to be more Jackbox nights, tune into that. Because I can tell you right now that, like, if it's a blast, which it probably will be, we'll probably play Jackbox with our friends again. But streaming it is a different thing. So if you want us to do that more, tune in. Because if like 5 people show up, we probably won't do it again.
Sure.
So yeah, 6:30 p.m. Friday next week Eastern. We will be doing a stream where we play Jackbox with some of our friends.
It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to
it. That is next week. So yeah. Thanks everyone for coming on out. Thanks for putting up with our bullshit. Thank you for suggesting cool, neat words for us to spin stuff off of.
Yeah, thanks for playing. Excellent. Well, we will see you all on Monday. Until then, have a great weekend. And Paul, I think I've got a new sign off if you want
cool.
to take a
Because
crack
our
at it.
original one kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
So here we go. Have a great weekend, guys. Until next time, embrace the ridiculous.
Embrace the ridiculous is very good. That's good. Embrace the ridiculous, everyone. We'll see you all Monday. Bye.
Have a great weekend.